Coach Mitzi with Wellness Worthy with Coach Mitzi. I am here today to talk weight loss. Yes, weight loss. We're going to go through a few more tips to help you on your journey to wellness and see how these may work for you. If you are interested in some good weight loss tips and some general nutrition tips, then hang around and be sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. I would appreciate it. You know that helps me with my business. I'm in a race to get to 1,000 subscribers. As soon as we hit that mark, I can start offering you the membership packages that I have put together, which are wonderful. So we want to hit that 1,000 member mark. So please help me reach that goal. I appreciate you. Thank you. Hey Worthies, we're back. Yes, let's get started with our journey to wellness and with these weight loss tips. And there's going to be some nutritional information included in here because, you know, I got to put a little bit in there. And first, I want to talk to you. Again, you're going to hear me say this repeatedly, hydration. But hydration is so important, and I find so many people walk around dehydrated. They eat thinking they're hungry when they're thirsty. So make sure you are staying hydrated. And during COVID, when we've all been shut inside, you would think people are drinking more, but we're finding people actually drink less, and they're having to remind themselves to drink because they're not going constantly. So make sure, even though you may be more sedentary, that you are staying hydrated. Okay, so that's one of our tips. I also want to talk to you about, a lot of times people think that if we lower our calorie count, then they're going to lose weight. And then they lower their calorie count and they don't lose weight. They lower their calorie count and increase their fitness, and they don't lose weight. What's happening? It's because you're not eating nutrient-dense foods. So in a way, it's almost less about the caloric intake and more about the nutrient weight. I'll give you an example, okay? Now, it's something that I love and I don't keep in my house. Why don't I keep it in my house? Because it's a weakness. I could sit and just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And I have found, even when I occasionally will have one, I don't even really like how it tastes anymore because I don't keep them in my house. Remember, we talked about taste buds changing every 10 days. Stay away from something. You go back to it and it's not quite as good as you remember. That's good. So, my weakness, Oreo cookies. I know, could have a lot of other weaknesses, but that is one of mine. Why? Because they're dairy free. And so when you're somebody like me who has a dairy allergy for cow's milk in any form, you look for anything you can have that doesn't have it, that could be something a little treat, and Oreos are that. But Oreos, so you get the 1 pound package of Oreos, 2,200 calories in the entire package. Okay, now not saying somebody's going to sit down and eat the entire package at one time, though somebody could. I've never done that, but I have eaten a row. Bad, don't suggest it. But what you could get for that same 2,200 calories, you could eat, okay, and I'm gonna have to read it because it's a lot of stuff. You could get 1 pound of papayas, and not get, eat, consume. 1 pound of papayas, 1 pound of apples, 1 pound of onions, 1 pound of lettuce, 1 pound of kale, 1 pound of tofu, 1 pound of 2% cottage cheese, 2 pounds of cantaloupe, 2 pounds of celery, and 2 pounds of cucumbers. That's a lot of food for the same calories that's in the Oreos. Now, you can say to me, but the Oreos taste so good. Yeah, they taste good because they're sugar. Sugar is addictive, and we will crave it, and sugar does maddening things to our bodies. So, as much as we love it, one of the biggest health tips I can give you to losing weight is, if it's a weakness, get it out of the house. Don't have that tub of ice cream if that's your go-to, or the bag of potato chips, you know, or Oreos, or something, anything that's going to be your weakness, that you know that when you get stressed, when you get tired, when you get bored, all those reasons that sometimes we just mindlessly eat, if that's your go-to, get it out of the house. Now, if your go-to is strawberries, okay, you can keep those, but you understand where I'm going with this. Get the junk food out if that's your weakness. Now you say, but my husband likes that, or my kids, or, you know, this is their thing. I understand that. Then you need to have that conversation with them that says, this is yours, I'm not going to eat it, but I would appreciate you not eating it around me. They can be considerate of you while you're going through this. And when you're stronger and don't feel the urge to have it and crave it, then it won't be such a big deal if they do have it. But maybe it's kept in a separate cabinet or shelf, where that's the do not touch shelf for you, and it's kept there. Or they may be like, you know what, I don't have to have that. I can find something else to snack on. So just have the conversation. But there's your second tip. So 1, stay hydrated. 2, get that food out that is your weakness. If it's not there, you're not going to eat it, right? Right? We're not going to go to the store and make a midnight run. We're just not going to eat it. Now, back to the Oreos and the crate of fruits and vegetables that had the same calorie count. Think of your body this way. Your body is just looking to be full. So if you have a bowl of soup and it fills you up, your body doesn't know, is it 100 calories or 1,000 calories? It's looking for the density. So by having low caloric dense foods, or nutritionally dense foods, you are going to consume less calories, but you're going to feel full. There lies how the weight loss occurs. So yes, lowering the calorie count does help you lose weight, as long as you are consuming low caloric dense foods, nutritionally dense foods. Next, make sure you're having breakfast. And breakfast is really important, because studies have found that when somebody eats breakfast, they're less likely to snack throughout the day. People who do not eat breakfast tend to be the ones who start craving things. Even if they have a good lunch, they still will be snacky throughout the day. So start with a really good breakfast. Also, our next tip is make your own food. Yeah, I said it. Cook. Make your own food. 1, you'll be more satisfied. 2, when you make food for you and your family, I know a lot of times it's, oh, I'm tired, I just want to get this done. But the reality is you're putting yourself into that food. You're putting your love for yourself and your family into making a good meal, even if it's quick. Cook. If you do have to go out to eat or pick something up, take the portion size into consideration. Some people get a kid's meal, but restaurants get harder and more difficult to let adults get a kid's size portion. So what I suggest is you cut your meal in half immediately. Sometimes you can even do thirds. Go ahead, as soon as they bring the plate, ask them to bring the doggy bag, the to-go container, cut your meal in half and put it away. Then you've got a meal for another day, but you're not going to consume all those additional calories. And when we talked about water and how important it is to stay hydrated, when you replace sodas, caffeinated drinks, and alcohol with water, you cut an immense amount of calories. Often people, their first 10 pounds they lose is when they switch from the sodas and the alcohol or the caffeinated beverages to water. They'll lose that 10 pounds initially. So remember that it's keeping you hydrated, but it also can help you lose weight. That's important. And remember, if you do consume alcohol, think about the type of drinks you are having, because I mean, a margarita, and again, a good margarita can be around 700 calories. That's a lot. That can be half your calories in a day for some people, or a third of your calories. So do keep that in mind. And if you are going to have alcohol, maybe go for a lower caloric beverage. Now, next tip. You ready for this one? Reduce your stress. Reduce your stress. Yeah, that's easy, right? Everybody can just reduce their stress. Well, we can. It's just sometimes it takes us getting out of the box of stress that we're in and looking back and thinking about ways we can do it. That can be through finding time just to do some deep breathing. And deep breathing, we want to breathe in through the nose. When you breathe in through the nose, you are filling the lower chamber of your lungs. That's the important part. We want to fill that lower level, the lower chamber of our lungs. So breathe in through the nose and out. Try to do it 10 times. That would be a good goal. Breathe in. Breathe out. And let it completely empty. And then breathe in, breathe out. Set your goal for 10 times. Many of our smartphones even have a breathing app, or if you have a smartwatch, mine will do deep breathing exercises, and you can put how many you want and it'll count it for you and give you a little beep, time to do the next one. Everything's there with you. So check your phone or your smartwatch if you haven't already, and that's a great way to help reduce stress. Deep breathing exercises, meditation, yoga, going for a walk, which could be part of your exercise. There are always external factors, jobs, relationships, finances, all kinds of things that can add stress. And it may be that you need to look, is one of those factors something you may need to speak to a financial advisor about, a counselor, somebody in your church, a close friend that is good with advice. look at ways to try to reduce your stress in those other areas and work on that. But for you personally, you could do things like your deep breathing, like the meditation, yoga, going for walks, to help you reduce your stress. Something as simple as even, saying your prayers. If you're a person of faith, then saying a prayer can really help, especially before bedtime. We find that saying the prayer and releasing that stress before you go to sleep can really bring down that stress level. A trick. So when we tend to be stressed, one of our hormones is elevated, and that's cortisol. It goes up. A trick to bring cortisol down, I want you to lay down on the ground, and put your bottom to the wall and your legs up. So you're basically laying like this against the wall. Body, bottom, legs going up. Okay, so hold that position, lay there, close your eyes. You can put your hands, extend your arms out, palms up, and just lay there for a few minutes. Even if it's just a minute. It activates our parasympathetic nervous system, and your cortisol level will start to come down. Your stress will come down, your blood pressure, and cortisol also affects blood sugar. And we'll talk about that in another video. But those are some ways to help reduce stress. Won't cost you money, doesn't cost you a lot of time, but are ways that you can help yourself in your weight loss journey. So that leads to get enough sleep. You got to get some sleep, people. We are horrible. We are horrible as adults with our sleep. People are getting less and less and less because they're more and more stressed. We're also using our electronics till all hours of the night. Either we're working late on the computer, we're surfing the internet, we're watching TV, movies, we're chatting on our phones, but all that blue light is stimulating our brain. You have to shut that stuff down. Even if you think, I don't feel any different, it doesn't do anything to me. It does. You don't even realize it. Shut it off 30 minutes to an hour before going to bed. That's why they tell you don't watch TV in bed. And people go, but I can't sleep unless I fall asleep with the TV. But guess what? You'll fall asleep, but you're not getting deep sleep. If you've got a sleep tracker, I bet when you look, you do not get any or very little deep sleep. That's where your body heals itself. Gotta get that deep sleep in there. So shut off your electronics, shut everything off 30 minutes to an hour before bed. If you were watching it in bed, when you shut it off, get up, go brush your teeth, go lock the house up, maybe just do a yoga pose or two. That's a great time to do some deep breathing. Maybe do your prayers, your journal, something like that during that time. But what you're doing is unwinding and calming down so you can crawl into bed and go to sleep. What we want to see, ideally, is that 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Realistically, I would shoot for anything more than 5 to start and try to work your way up. Consistent bedtimes also help with getting a good night's sleep. When people go to bed at 9 one night, midnight another, 10, 1, it's all over the place. We mess up our natural circadian rhythm. We've got to be able to go to sleep pretty consistently. Of course, we all have reasons why that won't always work, but if you can, try to be consistent with your bedtime. Get those blue light filters if possible. Turn off those electronics. Get up from bed if you've been laying in bed before you go to sleep. Do some things to unwind. Crawl into bed. Also, light tricks our mind into thinking we should be awake when we should be asleep. So if you live in a place where you get a lot of light coming in from your street, your neighborhood, try and get you some blackout curtains or blinds so that you can make it as dark as possible in your room. Also, temperature. If you sleep and it's too warm, your body again thinks it needs to be awake. We tend to sleep better with cooler temperatures. So if you can, drop the thermostat down just a little bit, you'll sleep better. Next, keep moving. Sedentary people are going to be the people who put on weight or carry weight. Hey, guess what? You know, in that place where I told you I'm trying to lose my hips, sedentary people tend to gain weight there, mainly because, well, a lot of us work jobs where we're sitting 8 to 5, you know, so of course that's where we're gonna gain, is around the middle, the hips, the butt. So get up and move whenever you can. You know, some people have those wonderful treadmill, workstation treadmills that just fit under their desk, and they walk, or they've got the standing work centers. That's great. I would say by and large, most people do not have that set up. And so, you know, get yourself up, move, stretch. Just doing stretches, toe touches, arm circles, feet circles. Even if you're working, you know, you can sit and raise your toes up while you're under your desk, you know, working. Get those ankles and feet doing circles. Yeah. Go walk, go do a flight of stairs. If you have lunch time, if you bring your lunch when you're done, go walk around the building, walk up and down the stairs, get yourself some exercise, but keep moving. Another thing you can do, and I do this even when it's really hot in Texas, though I don't do it let's say as far out, but park out, walk in, walk out. Don't always have to park next to the building that you're going in. Let yourself get that activity. For people who live in the cities, they tend to walk. You know, I know that some will ride the train or catch a cab, but they do a lot more walking than people in rural areas and suburbs who drive everywhere. So park out, walk in, and then keep track. Use a food journal, like we talked about in our first weight loss video. I'm keeping my own weight journal for me. You know, I haven't shown it to anybody else except, well, I told you guys where I'm at right now, but you know, keep a journal with your foods. See what's working for you, what's not working for you, how you feel after you eat it, either immediately, an hour, the next day. Sometimes you start picking up some things and you realize maybe that's not a food I need to continue with, or you start seeing a habit and maybe a bad habit that has been formed that you want to try and break. You may also see some good things you're doing, and those are those times when you go, yay, I'm doing a great job here, and let that carry over to the other areas that you need to work on. Also, be a good food detective. what's a good food detective? You know, you got the magnifying glass and you're out looking. Read your labels. There are a lot of packaging out there that is big on marketing and looks like it's healthy, and it is not. When you start reading those labels and you see more ingredients that you can't pronounce versus things that you know what they are, stay away. You want actual food. You want, you know, if it's beans, but there's also garlic and paprika, that's one thing, that's seasoning. But if you've got 20 chemicals listed under that, that's not food you need to have. It means it's filled with preservatives and mainly a lot of toxic chemicals that are not good for you. So be that food detective. Check out your labels. Buy the things that are most healthy. Ideally, we want to stay away from prepackaged foods. Eating whole foods is the way to go. But realistically, there are times when we have to buy packaged foods, and therefore make sure you read your labels. And then we talked about identifying your temptation foods and don't keep it in the house. And temptation foods, it could be that you have that one thing, like, as I said, you know, Oreos were one that I could just sit down and mindlessly eat, and they're not good for me. Never have been, never will be. I keep them out of the house. But what I have realized is I have a sweet tooth, a big, giant, gaping sweet tooth. I want everything chocolate if possible, but I love sweets. I love carrot cake. I love, well, let's put it this way. I love cake. I love cake. I love cake in cake form. I love cake in muffin form. I love it in cupcake form. Loaves, give me banana bread, pumpkin bread, you name it. Okay. I love sweets. I had to realize that. And I guess you know, you kind of know these things about yourself, but I kept thinking, oh, it's not that bad. But it is. It really is. It's something that I have to be mindful of. I don't want to be diabetic, and I could make things and use alternatives. But the reality is I needed a wake-up call and start eating healthier and not just try to take what I like and make it healthier, because I still wasn't doing the best I could. And so find what it is that does it for you. I have friends that's like, they don't like sweets at all, but man, they love their chips. They love those carbs. And you know, they could eat chips and pretzels and you know, crackers and things like that. And those are still high in calories. They may not have the sugar count, but guess what carbs break down into? So see what your temptation foods are, and then try to help get support of the people in your home if you are sharing those foods with others, and let them know that, hey, these aren't good for me and they really tempt me, and I'm trying to do right. So please help encourage me. Please help support me while I try not to eat these things. And if you're single at home, well, if you get that urge to eat those foods, call your accountability buddy, your support buddy, or text or message, you know, whatever your best form of contact is, and let them help encourage you. Sometimes just having a good laugh and conversation with somebody can change it, and you don't want that food because maybe you're eating because you were bored. Maybe you need to exercise, or maybe you need to drink water because you're actually thirsty and not hungry. So think about that, and then take a multivitamin. If you are not taking one, take it. But I do encourage you that you do not take a synthetic multivitamin. And you're going, what's a synthetic multivitamin? And that's one that's really made of a lot of chemicals and is not food-based. So if you're going to get a good multivitamin, now once you know what they are and you know brands, you can order off the internet. But you might want to go to one of your whole food type stores. I know there's Whole Foods, Natural Grocers, Sprouts. You know, there are various vitamin shop places throughout the country, or in whatever country you are in, and they have experts who would be able to help you find the right vitamin for yourself. But I don't typically advise you to buy one from, you know, the big box chain stores, grocery stores, that kind of thing, where they're going to sell vitamins that have a lot of fillers and not necessarily the most nutrient dense for you. But taking a multivitamin does help. It really does, because we don't necessarily get everything we need in our diet. And even when we have a perfect diet, oftentimes it's not enough. So let's go ahead and get that multivitamin. So I hope that these strategies today really help you in your weight loss. And let's go through them again, which is staying hydrated. Basically eliminating your nemesis, get it out of your house. Make your own food. Yeah, that's cooking. Make your own food. Reduce your stress levels. Get enough sleep. Keep moving. Keep track of what you're eating and how it's working for you. Be that food detective. Remember, not everything is what it seems, so read those labels. Identify your temptation foods. Is it salty? Is it sweet? Is it crunchy? Whatever your temptation foods are, and that way you can either reduce, eliminate, or get that support system working for you. And lastly, take that multivitamin. You'll start to feel better over time, and it's actually doing work inside that even you won't necessarily notice, but your organs, your arteries, everything will thank you for that extra help that you are providing. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope you are doing great in your weight loss journey, and we will be talking soon. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. If you would like a personalized health coaching session with me, then please go to my website. The link is in the description. You can schedule and do everything through that website. And coming soon, I am working on it. I am going to be posting recipes in there, and there will be some work at your own pace health coaching programs where you can sign up, and the program is there for you to work however is best for you and your schedule. So those are coming soon. You can follow me on Twitter at www.coachmitzi, and you can follow my Pinterest board. It's Wellness Worthy with Coach Mitzi. I would love to see you guys. Comment, follow, let's engage, and I will see you next time. Bye.